Episode 4 of The Ghost Pirates by William Hope Hodgson. Far from land, far from rescue, and far beyond the reach of reason, the packet ship Mortzestus is no longer simply unlucky. Men have seen figures climb aboard from the sea. They have seen shapes in the rigging that vanish when chased. They have watched sails lash out in calm weather. They have learned that nearby ships can exist beyond sight, as though the Mortzestus is wrapped in some strange blindness of her own. And now the old packet is entering a new stage of horror, no longer whispers, no longer glimpses. Now the thing aboard her has begun to kill openly. At the center of it is still Jessup, steady, practical, and now frightened enough to start believing his own impossible theory. There is Tammy, the apprentice, pale and shaken, but braver now than many older men. There is the second mate, hard officer and reluctant believer, trying to maintain order while the impossible gnaws through discipline. There is the captain, the old man of the ship, weathered, proud, stubborn, still trying to command with the habits of ordinary seamanship. And among the men are rough working sailors who only wanted a voyage home. Stubbins, short, hard, skeptical, useful in a crisis. Plummer, an able seaman, not heroic by nature, but game enough to climb when ordered. Jacobs, a young ordinary seaman in the mate's watch, unlucky enough to be where the thing strikes next. It begins in wind and confusion. The weather has freshened, sails are being shortened, the royals are coming in. Jessup's watch has just been delayed at roll call because lazy young Tom nearly misses muster. That tiny delay saves Tom's life, because the instant the men move toward the fore-rigging, something heavy drops from aloft. Not rope, not gear. A body. It crashes down among them with such force that it kills Jock where he stands. The crew breaks. For one blind moment, the whole frightened lot runs for the lit forecastle like animals from fire. The first mate comes charging at them with a belaying pin, half convinced he is facing mutiny. This is Mr. Grange, the first mate, bullying, hot-tempered, the kind of officer who reaches for force before understanding. Then the noise comes again from high above them. A scream. A man crying for help in the dark. Help! 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 And Jessup realizes the body that fell was not the end of the attack. It was only the beginning. Stubbins bolts up the fore-rigging. Jessup follows with a lantern. The second mate goes after them. High on the fore-royal they find Jacobs in a state of utter terror, fighting and cursing as if grappling with something invisible on the yard. He seems to be battling another man, but when Stubbins reaches him, there is no one there. For a moment Jacobs calms. For one dreadful second it seems as though they may save him. Then Jessup glimpses a shadowy figure farther out on the yard. Something rises, something moves. The lantern is smashed from the second mate's hand. Darkness swallows the scene, and the rescuers bring Jacobs down, half mad, half broken, muttering of what has already been taken. Below, the count grows worse. Jock is dead. Another man, Svensson, is gone. Jacobs is alive, for the moment, but scarcely sane. The crew is now trapped between fear above and fear below, and still the voyage continues. Then comes the next ordeal. The ship must shorten sail again in bad weather. No one wants to go aloft. Not after bodies from the dark. Not after cries for help in the royal. But they go. Because a working packet cannot stop working simply because the night is wrong. Stubbins leads. Plummer follows. Jessup and old Jasket come after. Up there, halfway to the topgallant, Stubbins suddenly curses as if someone has shoved him. Plummer answers from another place in the dark that he never touched him. Then both men begin shouting at once, not arguing, fighting for their lives against something that cannot be clearly seen. Jessup cannot get past Jasket in time. The darkness is full of voices now, curses, shrieks, someone far off yelling for the men aloft to get down. Then even Jessup feels it, a grip around his waist, a sudden living clutch in the dark, not rope, not sail, a hand that tries to pluck him bodily from the rigging. He reaches deck in a whirl of terror, so do the others, but not all of them. At roll call, the second mate calls the names, Jasket answers, Quoin answers, Jessup answers, Stubbins does not. Now the captain himself takes command. No more bluffing, no more jokes about bogies. He orders lanterns, flares, blue lights, paraffin, men in the rigging, lights on the yards, and quietly, grimly, he arms himself and the second mate with revolvers, because whatever is up there may have to be fought. Tammy is placed on the forward house with a ghastly blue flare to light the climb. Under that unnatural glare, every rope and sail jumps out like something diseased. The men go aloft once more, higher, higher, up into the rigging where Stubbins vanished. The search grows worse with every yard climbed. The captain strikes a fresh blue light. The yard leaps into brilliance. And then, at last, the thing is seen clearly enough to destroy all remaining doubt. Two silent shapes drop from the royal to the topgallant yard. A hunched thing rises midway out and runs in toward the mast. The captain and the second mate fire, the creatures scatter into darkness, and all along the yards the men scream as their flares die out one by one. Below, panic breaks loose again. A man is seen running, someone cries that something is on the rail, another shouts that it has gone overboard, and in the aftermath they find Jacobs on deck, dead. The captain looks down at the body and says only one terrible word, 3. 3 dead since 8 bells. And Stubbins gone utterly, never found, never brought down, never seen again. Now the ship begins to look like a vessel at war. Lamps are lashed in the rigging to flood the decks with light. The crew moves in exhausted dread. Every shadow is suspect, and Tammy, for the first time, forces Jessup to do what he has avoided since the beginning. Tell the captain everything. So Jessup goes aft. He stands before the captain and the second mate and says the unspeakable plainly. The things have come aboard from the sea. The danger is not just in the men's nerves, it is in the ship herself. The Mortzestus is somehow open to them, and worse still, the strange mist and wavering atmosphere may mean the ship is blind to the ordinary world outside, blind to nearby vessels, blind perhaps even to land. At last the captain listens, not as a man humoring a sailor's nerves, not as an officer tolerating superstition, as a man who has seen enough death in one watch to know that reality has ceased to be ordinary. He hears Jessup out from beginning to end. The figure from the sea, the shadows, the mist, the phantom ships, the blindness. And when Jessup says that trying to run for the nearest port may only pile them blindly onto shore, the captain understands the size of their prison. If Jessup is right, the Mortzestus cannot simply flee. She may be cut off, wrapped in something unnatural, visible to the outside world perhaps, but unable truly to see out. A ship at sea, a ship under siege, a ship in a trap, and now, at last, her officers know it. Next time the final act begins, because once the captain believes, the horror no longer belongs to frightened sailors alone. It belongs to the whole ship,